Sorry about that. I don't know what happened, but we're going to go ahead and get our meeting started today. Thank you for everybody for being here. It looks like we have the members here from the committee. Councilmember Hancock is here. I'm not sure if Councilmember Jurinsky is here. If I'm missing her, please accept my apology. She's the vice chair. We have no consent items. Councilmember Hancock, do you approve the minutes of 1:10:25? Okay.
I do approve the
Okay.
minutes. Thank you.
Okay, I approve the minutes as well. We're going to give our state legislative. Is it Cami and the mayor? I want to acknowledge that Mayor Kaufman is here as well. Hi, Peggy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, thank you. Happy Friday.
Same to you.
Just a quick update on a couple of the bills that we took positions on last week, or 2 weeks ago, I guess it was. Neither of the bills that we have taken positions on have been calendared for committee yet. The legislature has really been focused on wrapping up SMART Act hearings. So we do expect those to probably be calendared for Judiciary Committee here in the next couple of weeks, but nothing scheduled yet. Did want to give you a brief update. We did talk to the governor's office and the department on juvenile detention beds. And as you well know, the budget is very tight for this year. So they have really honed in on concept of making those emergency beds and flex beds that we've worked on the last couple of years, making those permanent. And that way it will provide some real stability and ability of jurisdictions to use those beds. It's pretty tricky right now. They got to jump through a lot of hoops. So if we can make those permanent, that's going to be a big win. Additionally, the DAs are working on legislation for more beds as well. So we'll continue to stay in touch with them so that we can best understand what they're working on. It may be and become something that everybody can support, but we'll keep you posted on the discussion around juvenile beds as it continues the session.
Is there any questions on that? Mayor Kaufman, Councilmember Hancock, that's a really big priority for us. So, and anybody else who's on the call as well, on the meeting as well. Mayor Kaufman?
No, so right now the beds are temporary. It's by every annual, it's done completely by annual appropriation. The number of juvenile detention beds.
Yeah, I think 22 of them are emergency beds and 15 are flex beds. And it basically puts a lot of regulation and limitations on how those can be used. So by making them permanent, it will allow a lot more flexibility for, yeah. Okay. So it's definitely a win and it's important. We'd certainly, I think, like to continue to see more beds available for those youth that need it. But at this point, given the budget constraints, this is probably the best we can do. Though, like I said, we'll continue to work with Gov's office, department, and the DAs on trying to find additional, maybe creative ways to fund additional beds.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Departments also.
I
was just going to add the department's making a presentation next Friday before joint judiciary and I believe health committees. So we'll tune into that and share that presentation as well.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Councilmember Hancock, did you have anything on that issue that you wanted to speak upon or have a question?
What we discussed previously, and I know the budget constraints are really forecasting how we're going to be able to operate with this. It would be my hope to have more, but I know what we're working with now. So thank you for all your hard work. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Peggy. I mean, I'll take any wins that we can. Again, we're gonna still, you know, this is a priority of the city, so we'll still navigate these roads ahead. But the win that we can take, I think it's really important. So I really appreciate your efforts on this as well. So. And Cami and your whole team. So. Thank you. Next item, Peggy, did you want to speak upon some other things before we move forward? Your,
Oh, Peggy's muted. I think she's telling you that I have a brief update. Our vehicle registration
Okay.
bill is expected to be introduced hopefully today. I have a couple of updates on it. We have added Senator Exum to the bill as
Great.
our Senate sponsor, and we also ended up pushing the implementation date out on the bill for budgetary reasons,
Sure.
but we should be in good shape, and we'll let you know as soon as that gets calendared.
Okay.
But we've been in constant contact with Rep. Tatone. Also, Rep. Hamrick is also very supportive and looks forward to signing on.
okay,
Yes, Mayor?
Mayor Kaufman?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chairman. Just Cami and Peggy, Mayor Hank, I mean, oh boy. Stephanie Hancock has been
Yes.
a mover on this, and so I think she want to testify on this. I would testify in support, but and help the chair or Stephanie navigate get them ready in terms of giving testimony in the General Assembly. But I think that I think it would be a good experience forum, and I think that it's and I'd be happy to help in that. But I think we really need to be on record by having, and even somebody from law enforcement if they want to testify, or Judge Day or whoever wants to testify. But I think we need a good presence there as it moves through the process in every step of the way.
Yeah, just to speak upon that, I think it would be good if Councilmember Hancock can go down to the Capitol. This is her bill, her initiative. It would be a great way for you to get in front of the bill. So for me, I would advocate for you to go,
Okay.
Councilmember Hancock. Also, maybe we can have a law enforcement officer or whoever, but we really do need to make sure we have some representation. And it is, since it's something you and the mayor have worked upon, I think it would be a good idea for you to be present.
Okay.
So.
Yes, Madam Chair, and I'm in concurrence with that because, the results that we've seen in Aurora so far have been really phenomenal. And I understand that because of the fiscal note that there's going to be pushback on this, and then the fact that it's going to be pushed out to 2027, it's not ideal, but I understand the constraints in which we're working under. The fact is, to your point that you said earlier, I'll take wins wherever we can get them. Continue to take the lead on this effort and continue to really just be the forerunners of how this legislation can impact our city, not only fiscally, but just in compliance with the way
Right.
people behave. And so I will make myself available if there's an opportunity for me to speak in front of committee or wherever I need to go, because I've seen the results and they're good, and I want us to keep moving forward.
Yeah, Mayor Kaufman?
So thank you.
Yeah, Peggy and Cami, now was the Department of Revenue that wanted a year extension on this? And was that because they needed time to make adjustments to their information systems, or why was that again?
That's exactly right, Mayor. Also, I think another factor that came into play was not only having more time, but also avoiding what could have been a Tabor impact.
I see. Okay.
And Peggy, I just have a question in Cami. So it's going to be, the implementation date is 2027. It's not 2026. It's
That's correct.
2027. Okay.
July 1, 2027. And
Okay.
that was at the request of Department of Revenue. And we've tried to work very closely with them and also Representative Tatone, and that was the best case scenario.
Yeah, we do want to have this win. So if that's the implementation date, then we'll go with that, but as long as we can get it implemented. Mayor Kaufman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The, Peggy, Cammy, will the Department of Revenue or the governor's office testify in support, or are they just going to be neutral?
I believe they'll remain neutral. At this point, I don't think they have, substantial concerns with the bill that would be flagged or raised. Peggy, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, they may testify for informational purposes, how it
Okay.
would operate, why, how we've worked together, that sort of thing. So to Kami's
Okay.
point, certainly neutral, if not neutral plus, just to kind of share information on how it would be
Okay.
implemented.
Well, that could be a positive. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Mayor Kaufman, do you have another question? I see your hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
Okay, thank you.
Not on this issue.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Peggy and Cammy, what's our next updates?
I think Liz is going to discuss the bills that we have on our list for today. Unless we
Okay,
don't
so
have
no
a
more
list.
further updates
Oh, there she is.
besides. Okay, so
Yeah.
no further updates. Now we're going to move to the positions. I just wanted to check with you before we move to that next agenda item.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Liz. We're going to do our positions.
Yes,
So
thank you so much, Councilmember.
Mhm.
So we have 4 bills to discuss today, several different positions. So the first bill will be House Bill 25-1083, Vehicle Transactions Deployed Military Families. This would essentially delegate a service member's dependents to have an extended time period to update their driver's license after it expires. The city is looking for a position recommendation of support. This is a big priority for the Regional Department of Defense office, as well as helping to support our community, our military community. In addition to that, given the city's own work on motor vehicle registration and trying to get people into compliance, we felt like this bill would be a good companion support for us. So we are recommending a support position for this bill.
Okay, Councilmember Hancock and Mayor, you cannot vote on this, but do you have any questions about this bill before we give a position that we want to take from the committee?
No, I don't.
Okay, Councilmember Hancock, do you support the city position of support?
I am in support of this, and I think we can
Okay,
move forward.
I am as well. Thank you, Liz. Let's move to
Wonderful,
the
thank you.
next one.
Okay, next bill, House Bill 25-1053, landowner immunity for emergency access to property. So this bill would provide immunity from civil liability and damage to people with property when they allow entry for first responders onto their land. We're looking to recommend an amend position on this bill, as the bill is specifically for first responders. However, nothing in the bill verbiage kind of really specifies that. So in the packet, we have some recommended language we would like to amend to, so I'll just read it aloud. So we would like to recommend to amend the bill to concerning limited immunity from civil liability for landowners who allow an employee or contractor of an employee or contractor of a city or county acting within the scope of employee or contractor's duties as code enforcement or animal protection or as a first responder, and then access to their property and entry and exit for in connection with an emergency. We think this is a little bit more specific than the generalized language that we had concerns with. So that's the amend position we're recommending, as well as what we would like to amend.
Okay, any questions? And then Councilmember Hancock, do you support the position of amend on this legislation?
I do support this, which is more clarifying here and it's specific. So yes.
Okay, I support amend the position as well. Thank you, Liz. Let's move forward to the next one.
Next one are opposed legislation. So the first bill is Senate Bill 25001, Colorado Voting Rights Act. This makes a multitude of changes to election-related issues, specifically for municipalities. The city recommends to strongly oppose this bill as it interferes with our municipality and home rule authority, as well as the Constitution that grants us power to regulate our elections. There's a really big explanation in the backup documents, but essentially, because this severely impacts our home rule authority, we believe we should completely oppose this legislation at this time.
Okay, Councilmember Hancock, do you have any questions and do you
Yes,
support the position of the
Madam
city?
Chair.
Yes, go
Yes,
ahead.
Madam Chair, after reviewing the backup, I totally am in agreement with the opposition to this, as it does impact our home rule authority, and we're going to fight against everything that will impact that. So I do strongly support our opposition to this.
Yes, and I support it as well. I think it also is just going to bring, it would bring so many resources that would have to be for this to even happen for municipalities. And I think that that's not real thought out with this bill for sure. So as well. So I support the opposed position as well.
The last bill is House Bill 25-1031, Law Enforcement Whistleblower Protection. So the bill creates a civil cause of action for peace officers if they're in violation or if another officer believes they're in violation of laws and policies. City recommends to oppose this position as there already are protections and avenues for redress under the law, and this bill is a little bit redundant in those aspects. It also requires APD to complete internal investigations within 180 days. And that would allocate significantly more resources and cuts down on time that would be able to investigate any such claims. Based on this, we recommend to oppose this bill.
Okay, Councilmember Hancock, do you have any questions? Mayor, do you have any questions? Mayor Kaufman.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chairman. I think Peggy and Cammy, will the state association of chiefs of police or weigh in on this? Who can we have help us on defeating this?
Well, we have
What are the
Chief
chances of
Jewel.
passage? Yeah.
Yeah, we have Chief Jewel and Commander Hildebrand online. Would you like to speak to that?
I don't know if it's actually gone to the Colorado Chiefs of Police per se, but we definitely would take an opposed position on this for sure. But I don't know if there's a position from the state association.
They
Okay.
have certainly been in communication and involved in the stakeholder meetings, so they are definitely involved. If they haven't taken an official position yet, I do expect them to continue to weigh in on the discussion.
Okay.
Okay.
And go ahead, Madam Chair. Well, if I could
go
just.
ahead,
Yeah.
go ahead, continue, Mayor
So
Kaufman.
I think it's really important that to back our position up with having a presence at the Capitol. I think I tried to get the governor to veto a bill, and he was very critical that we had never testified against it. We took a position against it, but we it was kind of a surprise to him that we wanted the veto on it. And he really wants to see us, if it passes and we want to veto, to have been very active in opposition and be on the record.
Thank you for that information, Mayor Kaufman. That's a good insight, and I do agree with you on that. And also with the governor, if he's stating that. Can we get a presence down there? And I'm asking Deputy Chief Jewel and Hildebrand to speak upon these issues.
Yeah, we can definitely support going down to the Capitol and testifying on this for sure.
Okay, I would approve that as the committee member. Councilmember Hancock, would you as well? Okay, she's not there. But as the chair, I would like for police presence there on these bills, if possible, especially for the opposition ones.
And Madam
For sure.
Chairman, both, I think
Yes.
both, Madam Chairman, both elected officials and
Yes.
and a police presence, not just a police presence
Right,
only.
right, exactly.
But I think it's got to have both of us. Okay.
Yes, exactly, Mayor. Thank you for the clarification. Yes.
Madam Chair, I concur as well.
Okay, and then the question that we have before us, Councilmember Hancock, is do you support the position of oppose on this bill?
I do support the position of oppose, and I agree with the mayor that we should show a strong presence down there, a combined united front.
Right.
So I'm open to that too.
Okay, all right, I support the position of oppose as well.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much. That's all the bills we have for today. I expect we'll have a lot more at our next meeting due to the massive bill drop that will happen today.
Okay, and then just for some clarification with everyone here, again, we've agreed to have a presence on some of these bills that we've talked about. Will we be scheduling Peggy, Liz, get everybody
Yes.
coordinated for what
We'll
needs
be
we need to
coordinating with,
testify.
yes, we'll
Okay.
be
And
coordinating with
talking
you all
points
and
and all
staff.
of that. Okay.
Yep, we'll
Okay.
be doing that.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, if there's no other questions, we're going to go to our water update. Kathy.
Oh, good afternoon or good morning. It's still morning. I have one bill for you today. It's the one that I mentioned the last time that we met. So it was introduced, the backflow bill, House Bill 25-1077. And this bill specifies that backflow prevention device inspection, testing, and repair does not require a plumbing license. And this bill has no fiscal impact on the state nor the local governments. And the bill sponsors are Representative Ricks and Representative Leiter and Senator Roberts. We don't anticipate that this bill is controversial in any way, not expecting any opposition. And its first hearing is on January 29th in Business Affairs and Labor. I am recommending a support position. And I'll open that up for any questions.
Okay, is there any questions from the committee or Mayor Kaufman on this? Okay, seeing none. Councilmember Hancock, do you support the position of support on this legislation?
Yes, I do. And good work, Kathleen.
Yeah, and I support the position as well. So thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair.
And then I have one informational item for you.
Okay.
Next week, there's going to be about 600 or so water wonks in town. So next Monday and Tuesday, the State Colorado Water Conservation Board will be meeting on Monday and Tuesday at the Hyatt Regency south of Fitzsimmons. And then the week continues Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with the Colorado Water Congress Convention. That'll be those 3 days. So we're going to be inundated with water people. And that's a good thing. And Mayor Kaufman has provided opening remarks in the past, which thank you so much. And this year, Marshall Brown is going to be giving opening remarks. So I just want to let everybody know of that activity.
Okay, fantastic. So we're going to go down to miscellaneous matters for consideration. Mayor Hancock, Councilmember Hancock, Mayor Kaufman, do you have any questions or anything that you would like to be brought up in this forum right now before I open it up to everyone else?
Well, since I Madam Chair, since I keep being called mayor, I may have to consider after the mayor's term is completed, running for office. No,
Okay.
but I don't have I don't have anything at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mayor Kaufman, sorry.
Yeah.
Getting it mixed
I'm
up
not-
today.
The real deal. Okay, so, okay, Peggy and, Cammy, I think, how strong the bill that would, strip our authority in terms of, penalties that, are greater than state penalties to municipal court that are greater than state penalties for the same offense. If I'm reading that bill right, what is the probability of that in terms of passage?
Well, we have Judge Day on here as well. Judge Day, do you want to speak to?
Well, that's still in draft form, Mayor. It has not been introduced yet, although I think there is anticipation that it will drop with the huge number of bills that will drop today or maybe Monday. It will be introduced then. So we'll have to wait to see what the specific language is. I know we've all had a chance to review the draft language. It's a big bill. It's a 22-page bill. There's parts of that bill that I think I'm going to have to recuse myself on that because I think that there is the possibility, potential of it coming before our court on a challenge. So, but I just want to let you know, as of today, it hasn't dropped yet, but I think we're expecting it to drop either today or potentially Monday.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Peggy, did you want to speak upon that or did Judge Day cover everything?
Yeah, I agree. I think we should see that either today or early next week, but I think probably today.
Okay. Okay, is there any other miscellaneous matters that we want to be brought up to the committee? Okay, I don't hear anything. So our next meeting will be an in-person hybrid. Yes, Judge Day, sorry.
Sorry, and we all know that things are moving really fast.
Mhm.
at the Capitol, but there was Senate Bill 62 that was introduced, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago. It's a bill that is being run. Senator, make sure I have this right, Henriksen in the Senate, newly elected Representative Carter and Rep. Byrd in the House. It's a bill that relates to, well, it prohibits municipal courts for charging them with a specific offense of failure to appear.
Oh.
And it doesn't prohibit municipal courts from issuing a bench warrant for a failure to appear, but it prohibits municipal courts from charging somebody with a separate charge of failure to appear, which we have on our books, in our code. And as this taken action on in the past with mandatory minimum sentences and stress the importance of that charge, I need to bring it to the committee's attention that that's been introduced, and it is assigned to Senate Judiciary for a hearing on February 5th, which I think may be before our next meeting. So I wanted to bring it to the committee's attention today. I apologize for not getting it to Liz and everybody for backup, but again, things are moving pretty fast, and I just found out, I think yesterday afternoon, that it was set for Senate Judiciary on the 5th.
So Liz, but Mayor, let me ask a question, a procedural question. Liz, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, so with this being informed to us today, and with our next meeting not being until the 7th, can we take a position on this?
You can take a position if you feel strongly enough, and if Judge Day wants to put that forward. I think we're still reviewing the bill at this time for legal consideration. But if the committee feels strongly enough to take a position at this time, we can do that, or we can call an emergency meeting within the next few days.
Okay, so Judge Day,
it would be up to you.
Okay, okay, thank you for the procedural part. Judge Day, I mean, have you reviewed this bill? I mean, if we could take a position today, it would be great, instead of me calling an emergency meeting. But do you have enough information from the review of the bill where we could sit here and discuss from the committee perspective to take a position, a recommended position?
Yeah, I've reviewed it. It's a complete prohibition for municipal courts or any city to have on their books a charge of failure to appear. It doesn't have any impact, again, as I said, as to the court's enforcement of failure to appear by way of bench warrant for failure to appears. I can give you a really brief history as to why this bill is being introduced. There was long history, an issue with what Puebla was doing, and with using contempt of court as a separate charge, as an enhancement to many of their sentences that were being imposed. And there was a lot of people that were getting large jail sentences in Pueblo as contempt for failure to appear. And so the bill also addresses the separate charge of contempt for failure to appear, and it prohibits that from happening. There are many municipal courts that have failure to appear charges on their books. In our court, we haven't, until here just recently, been utilizing the charge of failure to appear until City Council took the direction that you did, and then just here recently, within the last 6 months or so, we started to see charges being filed with our court for failure to appears. And so it is being used in our court as a separate charge. This bill will completely remove that as a tool and or an option for law enforcement. So I just need to let you know that would.
Okay, so Judge Day, and then Mayor, I'll get to you for addressing a question. So from what you're stating, the recommended position on this, because it doesn't look like it could be something that could be amended language, is to oppose this. Is that would be your recommendation?
Well, based upon from what city council has taken in the way of vote and action as to penalties for the charge and the direction that you've given, it would be the bill would be in direct opposition and conflict with what you have done in the past. And so
Okay.
I'll defer to, Chief Jewell or Division Chief Hildebrand to see what impact I think that, or what perspective that they would have as well. And I don't think that we have anybody. Maybe George Kumatakis as well could take
I
a
think
more
George
formal
is,
position.
I think George is out of town. But before I get to this, because I do want to make sure we discuss this, because again, I'm looking at the time. Oh, George is there. I'm looking at the time
I'm
frame of when this is going to be coming up for a hearing, for the
Yeah.
hearing. So we don't have our meeting to the 7th. I want to make sure that we have some type of position. But Mayor Kaufman, do you have a question that you would like to speak to on this?
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I'm very concerned about this in terms of, I've been focused on the issue of homelessness and we want to get them off the street and into treatment. And, failure to appear, having that as an arrestable offense, and being able to charge them with it, I think is very important. And I guess I questioned to Judge Day, would it still be, I'm not clear on this, would it still be an arrestable offense? Failure to appear?
Well, they would be subject to a bench warrant for their failure to appear on the underlying charge. So if they're facing in your example, Mayor, a trespass charge or a
Right.
camping ban charge, and they don't appear for court, the court can still issue a bench warrant for that failure to appear on that underlying case. It's just that they couldn't be subsequently charged for the offense of failure to appear on a second prosecution, if that makes sense.
No, not entirely. I mean,
Well,
not a lawyer.
I know it's kind of nuanced a little bit because
Yeah.
you can still take action on the failure to appear by issuing a bench warrant, but it's for that underlying case. You can't, by the bill, this particular bill, when they appear on the bench warrant, then charge them with a separate offense of failure to appear
Mhm.
on whatever date that they missed their court date previously.
Okay.
And that's what the charge of failure to appear is. It's a separate, complete prosecution. You have the original trespassing case. They fail to appear on it. They come back before the court, or they are subsequently picked up on the failure to appear. They could be charged for that missed court date on the underlying offense.
Well, I think we have a lot of failure to appear that,
Yeah, we do.
sometimes I think it's intentional to where, you've got the witnesses lined up, you've got everything lined up, and then they don't show up, and then you've got to bring everybody back, and at some point, it just sort of erodes the ability to do a prosecution.
Chief Jewell, do you have any comments on this and recommendation based on what we're hearing? Just to kind of give your insight?
Yeah, I mean, in theory, I support the charging the failure to appear. To the mayor's point, there's a lot of resources that go into preparing these cases. And when somebody doesn't show up and you have witnesses and victims and things like that, that's impactful. And then they have to come back on a continuance potentially and other things. So, I mean, I agree with that. But I recognize that it puts a burden because now you're dealing with the original charge of whatever it was, the trespassing per se, and now you have to do an arraignment perhaps on a failure to appear based on that charge. And it kind of, if I'm following the judge correctly, it kind of continues to kick the can a little bit with the additional charge. And I do have a concern about maybe an additional burden, but I do support the premise of the charge itself. Yes.
Okay, Liz.
Thank you, Councilmember Lawson. So I just want to make it clear that we haven't had a chance to have our legal team review the bill yet. And if the committee did want to do a position now, we can do that. Or if we wanted to wait and have more of an analysis from legal, we could always do a position via email. George confirmed this with me, so I can coordinate an email between the committee members, have everyone send me their votes, and then send back what the outcome is if you would like to have that as an option. Just wanted to present that to you as well.
So Councilmember Hancock and George, then I'll get to you. Councilmember Hancock, do you want to, I just brought up because of the timing of the bill, we could take a position, but would you be in favor of maybe having more review of the bill? And then we can do an email exchange where we couldn't send it to everybody. We would have to just send it to Liz and then go in that direction.
I think I feel more confident in us being able to really dig into it a little bit more, to your point,
Okay.
Liz, and getting Judge Day and Chief Jules' perspective on it, so that we're really cogent and thoughtful and united in our response. I just think we just need a little bit more time. And I
Okay.
would be okay with an email trail, Madam Chair, if that would be convenient and efficient.
Okay, George, just for a procedural perspective, just because we have Councilmember Hancock, she's new to the committee. Can you explain a little bit just about that process and how we do that? We do the email and then we do have to take the formal position at the meeting. Am I correct on that?
You're referring to the meeting like a council meeting, right? Or you
No, I'm
say the
talking
next
about,
FSIR meeting?
yes, the
Okay.
next FSIR meeting.
Yes,
Okay.
and that is correct. You can definitely do that. I'm happy to answer the question you had earlier, or the mayor had earlier, Councilmember Lawson and Judge Day had presented as well. So I can answer that if you wish.
Yes,
or
please
we can.
address.
Okay.
While we're here, we might as well have the
Yeah.
discussion.
I mean, obviously, as Liz said, that our office hasn't reviewed that bill, but I'm pretty confident based on the way council has given direction in the past and what Judge Day referred to, that you all, at least the majority that voted in favor of the FTAs, would be also in favor of opposing this bill. So I think that would be the stance of our office. So I just want to let you all know that right now. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer any of the other any questions you all have.
Okay, well, like I said, we can go that direction. I mean, I was just trying to see just based on that, but with Councilmember Hancock, to maybe dig in a little bit to see why we would possibly, we would oppose it. I think that would be good. We can do that. It comes up if we can get that before our next meeting, and then we could take a formal position on the 7th. When we have our meeting, that would be great. But just to have the reasons of why we're opposed, I think that would be really helpful as we're digging inside into the bill. So I didn't mean to complicate matters. I've been on the committee for a long time, so I was just trying to do a position because I know that it kind of negates what we've been voting on as a city council. So Councilmember Hancock, didn't mean to put that pressure on you. But, and I forget you're kind of new to the committee. I've done this for a while, so I do apologize for putting that on you to take a position right away. But we'll go in that direction as stated. Mayor,
And
do
Madam
you
Chair,
have?
I apologize.
Yes.
I didn't mean to drop this on everybody today too. I literally just found out, I think yesterday afternoon, that it was scheduled for Senate Judiciary past the next meeting date. And that's why I was bringing it up. I know that there's still eyes that need to be put to the bill, and I think opportunity for input and feedback. And I didn't mean to, derail that from the process that we have set in place. It was just that because things are moving quickly, and then when they scheduled it for that Senate Judiciary hearing, I wanted to make sure that you were aware that that bill would be heard before the next meeting. So that was the purpose for bringing.
Oh, Judge Day, I appreciate it. I mean, things move fast. And I mean, that's just how we have
Yeah.
that's how we have to work. So I'm glad you did. And I'm glad we're notified, and please continue to do that. So no, it's nothing with you. I was just, things are moving really fast and they're going to move even faster. So I
Yeah.
really appreciate you doing that.
You're welcome.
So no problem at all. We have a procedure in place, and that's how we're going to move forward with this particular legislation and anything else that may come up that we have to deal with. We do have a process in place. So with that being said, Councilmember Hancock, do you have any other questions or anything else you want to bring up? And also Mayor Kaufman.
Madam Chair, I do not. I appreciate it.
Okay, Mayor Kaufman? You're
Yeah, just to, Madam Chair, I mean, I look forward to seeing the written, discussion, on this bill. I think it's really important that we oppose it, but it would be nice to have that memo before we make a decision. And I think it would be nice if we could make the decision before the next, before the bill is heard in committee.
I agree with you, Mayor. Liz, would that be possible to get that out before, way before, so we can state our position on this bill?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, my aim is to have either an email sent out this weekend or Monday, depending
Okay.
on how fast I get responses.
Could you copy Mayor Kaufman as well so he can have a review of the bill? I know, he does come to the committee meetings, just to have his, so he can be
Yes,
copied as
so
well.
I can do that, but everyone has to be BCC'd.
Right,
because
that's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Understood. George.
That's what I was gonna say, is just respond to Liz, do not respond to all, because then you'll be creating an online meeting that
Right.
hasn't been noticed. So,
Okay. With that being said, this has been a great meeting. Sorry, we talked through a lot of different issues. Our next meeting, again, will be an in-person hybrid. It will be February 7th at 11 p.m. at the AMC in the Aurora Room. So with that being said, thank you, everybody, and have a great weekend. Bye.
you all as well.